Picture this, it's the early 90s. The night is dark, you can feel the bass thumping in the distance, and there's this huge line snaking down a London street. Right at the front, there's a gatekeeper, the doorman, deciding who gets in and who's going home. This was the world of club culture, and it was a world built on a really simple but powerful idea. You were either an insider or you were an outsider.
Now, imagine you get to the front, and the doorwoman hands you a playing card. She just smiles and says, "This will get you all the way." As you walk downstairs, past all these bouncers who just nod at your card and wave you through, you realize, wait a minute, this isn't just about getting into a party. This is about access. It's about holding a key that almost nobody else has.
So what is that key? It's not always money, right? And it's not about your job or your resume. It's something way more subtle. It's like an invisible currency that decides who belongs. And in this explainer, we're going to unpack those secret rules of being cool.
To really get our heads around this, we need to turn to the work of sociologist Sarah Thornton. In her fantastic book Club Cultures, she actually gives this secret currency a name. And in doing so, she gives us this powerful way of understanding how taste and status get built in these little worlds. She calls it subcultural capital. Basically, think of it as the currency of hipness. It's all the knowledge, the style, the collection of experiences and things that prove you are in the know. It's what makes you cool in the eyes of the people who matter, whether that's in a packed club back in 1992 or, a private subreddit today. Now, this idea is completely different from what we usually think of as capital, money. Economic capital, as you can see here, is all about what you can buy. But subcultural capital, that's about what you know. Owning some super rare record isn't just about having a piece of vinyl. It's proof that you know what's important. It's a totally different value system. And to really see this in action, let's look at how club culture completely flipped the script on what was considered authentic music. I mean, this was a real battle for authenticity, pitting the live stage against the DJ's turntable. You see, for decades, real music meant one thing: a live performance, musicians on a stage. The Musicians' Union in the UK literally called recorded music a grave threat. They even called it decapitated music without musicians. A record was just a copy, a dead thing. The real, authentic experience had to be live. And this ad just perfectly illustrates that whole conflict. It's from a record label that was literally created to get around the rules, forcing dance halls to hire live bands. They were selling freedom from the old guard, trying to break the monopoly of live music. The battle lines were definitely drawn. So how in the world did the record win? Well, Thornton maps it out for us right here. Just look at this shift. In live culture, the musician performing is the origin. That's the unique source of value. But in disc culture, the authentic source becomes the record itself, this thing created in a studio. The very definition of what's authentic was being completely rewritten. So records started building their own kind of street cred. Their value wasn't in copying a live show, no. It was in being new, rare, or an exclusive white label promo that only a few people had. The DJ became the new artist, and the DJ booth, that became the new stage, where they curated this totally unique experience using records as their instruments. And creating this new value system is absolutely fundamental to building a subculture. Because once you've defined what's cool and authentic, you've also, by default, defined what isn't. You create an us by defining a them. And that dynamic is essential for any group trying to forge its own identity. Which brings us to one of the most memorable and kind of savage phrases from Thornton's research. This was the stereotype the hardcore clubbers used to describe the mainstream. Sharon and Tracy. They represented everything the insiders were not. They were the outsiders. The handbag itself became this incredibly powerful symbol. It represented the boring burdens of the adult world, commercial taste, and a total lack of commitment to the dance floor. To be an insider, you had to travel light. You defined yourself by rejecting this whole image of the uncool, chart-loving mainstream.
So this is basically the toolkit that proved you were on the inside. All of these are forms of subcultural capital. Having the flyer to a secret party, reading the right fanzine, owning the vinyl, these weren't just objects or hobbies. They were your credentials. They were proof that you belonged. It's like the physical equivalent of knowing all the inside jokes on a forum or having a rare skin in a video game.
But what happens when the outsiders start to notice? Well, this is where the media comes in, acting as both this catalyst for the scene and, often, the very thing that leads to its destruction. So in 1988, the rave scene absolutely exploded, and so did the tabloid headlines. This headline from The Sun is a classic example of what sociologists call a moral panic, where the media basically frames a subculture as this huge threat to society. But here's the twist. Was this moral panic really about protecting society? Or was it, in a weird way, the best free advertising the rave scene could have possibly asked for? I mean, these headlines simultaneously demonize the scene while telling thousands of kids exactly where to find the most exciting party in the country. And this is why, for a subculture, selling out isn't really about an artist making money. It's about the scene losing its secrets. When the knowledge that formed the basis of its subcultural capital suddenly becomes common knowledge, well, the currency gets devalued. The insiders lose that exclusive sense of ownership. And this all leads to a cycle that's almost perfectly predictable. As you can see, it starts with creation, as a scene is born in the underground, nurtured by niche things like flyers. Then comes discovery, which leads to a moral panic, followed by commercialization, where its styles and sounds get copied for the masses, and finally, the original insiders declare it dead, and they move on to create the next underground thing, starting the whole cycle all over again.
Okay, so that was the 90s rave scene, but Thornton's ideas are maybe more relevant now than they have ever been. Sure, the technologies and the platforms have changed, but that fundamental human drive for distinction, for belonging, that has not gone anywhere. The concept of subcultural capital gives us this amazing lens to see the invisible hierarchies that are at play everywhere, from gaming communities and fashion scenes to online fandoms. The same dynamics of insiders, outsiders, and what's authentic are constantly at work.
I mean, the parallels are striking, aren't they? The rarer white label vinyl of the 90s is today's limited edition sneaker drop. The secret flyer is the invite to a private Discord server. The underground fanzine has basically become the niche subreddit. The currency has changed its form, but the economy of cool, it operates on the exact same principles.
Which leaves us with a final, really crucial question. Back in the day, cool was curated by DJs, fanzine writers, and club promoters. But today, in a world of recommendation algorithms and professional influencers, who are the new gatekeepers? Is an underground even possible when everything is instantly discoverable? Who really controls the currency of cool now?